Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat? Well, yes, no, 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 maybe. Life is unfair.
Hello and welcome to Yes, No, Maybe. My name is Ryan.
My name is Willa.
We are brother and sister, and this is a podcast where we discuss, debate, and relate to the widely seen and criminally underappreciated 2000 sitcom. Continuing our streak of amazing interviews that I don't know how we landed. Today we have a very special guest, one of the stars of the reboot, Malcolm in the Middle, Life Still Unfair. And I will pass it to Willa for introduction.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks so much. Here we go. Today we are talking to Kiana Madeira. You may know her as Dina from the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix, Mo from Trinkets, or as the voice of Supergirl in My Adventures with Superman. Kiana got her start at 15 on a show called Little Mosque on the Prairie, and now she's playing Tristan, Malcolm's seemingly perfect girlfriend in Life Still Unfair. Kiana, welcome to Yes, No, Maybe.
Woo!
Thank you. Woo! Thank you for having me.
Of course. It's so nice to have you here, and I'm sure you've been doing like all Malcolm press and stuff. And did you go to that? There's like a French meetup thing happening, like a French con, like because they're obsessed with Malcolm over there.
I wasn't there, but we're actually a bunch of us are going in December to Life is Unfair Con.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was like-
Wow.
They were
Yeah.
like, I saw some ad. Obviously, my algorithm's all Malcolm, and something came up, and it was like the world's biggest Malcolm event, and I was like, oh my god. But I know you're Canadian as well, and like it's a big. We have some friends that are French Canadian, and we're talking about how it played a lot, like the show and reruns played a lot in Quebec and stuff. So, it's saturated and seeped into the French culture.
Yep.
It seems.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I haven't actually seen it dubbed. I've only ever watched it in English. But I remember talking to Jane actually on set, and she's like, I feel like I should connect with the actress who voices Lois in French because she's obviously doing an amazing job. And I'm like, that's so true. It's not even their voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's interesting that Malcolm in the Middle had, like, because it's got a huge presence in like Mexico also. And
Yeah.
that has sort of like been the chosen sitcom to like represent like the American family, which I think is like fitting. I think it's like a really good depiction of,
Yeah.
I
don't know, I
agree.
think that's interesting.
I agree. I like that. One of my favorite things about the show is that it's not glamorized. It's so realistic. Like the family's not perfect. They don't live in like the biggest house. It's like when I was a kid watching it, I was like, oh yeah, they're like me. And you don't often see that on TV, which makes it cool.
And I'm sure other
Yeah.
countries are like, yeah, when Americans come, they're fucking yelling and fighting. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
they're like, yeah, that's exactly what it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what was your relationship to Malcolm in the Middle before the revival? Or did you have one?
I was a huge fan as a kid. I think I was 8 when it came out, when it first started, and it was always on in my house. Like my brother and I, he's a year and a half older than me. We loved watching it. I feel like the brothers inspired all the hijinks that we would get up to, or at least want to get up to, like on summer holidays. And like, yeah, I was a huge fan. Funny enough, actually, when I was in 5th grade, my teacher took a photo of everyone on the first day of school. And I only realized this like as I was in LA doing the chemistry read for Malcolm in the Middle for the reboot. I was going through my photos and I realized that the paperback book I was reading on the first day of school in 5th grade was actually the Malcolm in the Middle paperback.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so crazy. I knew I was in my memory. I knew I was a huge fan, but I'm like, to be reading the paperback on the first day
Yeah.
of school, I guess it was even a bigger fan than I remember.
So cute. I actually like, I was drunkenly one night looked up like, is there Malcolm stuff, Malcolm merch, just to order
Yeah.
some for us because I thought it was awesome. And I found the paperbacks and I'd never seen them before. And so I ordered one and I have like the water park paperback now. Which
It's
is
a great one. That's a great episode. That's
It's awesome.
perfect.
I wonder, like, that would be cool too to talk to people that like translated it from script to paper.
Well, it's writers from the show. So it's
Oh,
like,
really? Like,
yeah.
they did?
Yeah, it's Dan Danko is one of the writers on it. It's insane that I know this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Trivia.
Seriously, my brain is full of
gonna know if
yeah. But Dan Danko, because I saw this recently online. Yeah, Dan Danko is one of the writers, and so it's like adaptations of the show, but then also they did like original episodes like for Page. So there's one I think where like a robber broke into their house.
Whoa, yeah, they could do stuff that they can't do on the show. They're like, then Robert De Niro shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's cool that you mentioned the like voice actors of the other languages too. I think that would be a really fun thing for us to get on too. It's like talking to people, voicing them in different languages, and I wish we spoke other languages so that we could do this
Reach
podcast.
those audiences.
Spanish, I know. Talk about brand reach. We could really
Yeah.
all quadrants. But no.
I know. You know what's crazy though? The new Meta glasses, you can like translate in real time.
Oh my god.
Whoa, that'd
We
be
did the
hilarious.
whole podcast again wearing the meta glasses.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
wearing Meta glasses and looking into a mirror, and they're recording.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, Meta
Horrific.
sponsorship. Where are you at?
Meta sponsorship.
Really good.
It's true. It's true. You're really helping us out here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were wondering also like so you had a relationship with Malcolm. You obviously been acting for a long time. You kind of were. Would you describe yourself as a child actor? I mean, you started 15 or earlier. Like, would you say that you felt kinship with like Frankie Muniz as somebody who'd started so young and were acting at that level?
I think for me, it was like inspiring more than anything. I started when I was 10, technically, but I really didn't start. I wasn't working like Frankie Muniz. So, like, especially being from Canada, it's so different. Like, the entertainment industry is so different there. So, while I was like taking a lot of acting classes and, you know, booking smaller things, I was by no means a child star. But people like Frankie Muniz, like seeing like Frankie Muniz on screen really as a kid was like made me be like, I could do it too. I could do it too. So definitely
Totally.
like inspired me, but I wouldn't consider myself a child star. I think I started to work more regularly when I was like 18.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
And when did this revival come across did your agents tell you about it, or did you see something and you're like, I gotta go for the revival?
No, my agents actually brought it to me. It was, I think, December 2020. We shot it, it was December 2024. So it was like right actually before the Christmas break, before the industry kind of closes for the holidays. And I remember seeing it come through and I was like, oh, Malcolm in the Middle reboot. I assumed it would be like different cast, different characters. Like,
Yeah.
And then in the audition, it said Jane, Brian, and Frankie were coming back. And I was like, whoa,
Wow.
that's crazy. That's like super iconic. And then I saw I was going for Tristan, it was Malcolm's girlfriend. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you get so many auditions as an actor and like you audition for so many things. Like you never, it's honestly it sometimes feels like a shot in the dark of like, what are you going to get? But then I got feedback for my tape, and then I got a callback, and then I met with Ken Kwapis and Linwood Boomer on Zoom to do a callback, and then they flew me out to LA to chemistry read. So it was like this whole couple of months process. But when I got the final call that I booked the role, I was actually, to this day, I'm kind of like, that's crazy. That's crazy, but like super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Did they have you tape with a scene of Tristan? Like was the character fully formed and ready to go like when you were reading, or did you guys develop it at all?
No, actually, yeah. My audition scenes were that first scene with Tristan and Leah when they meet for the first time and they're like
Cool.
laughing. Yeah, doing that. My other audition scene and the beginning of the process was also kind of like the breakup scene, like when Tristan leaves and you don't know if they're going to be together and they kind of get into that little argument. And then when I was doing the chemistry read, they threw in, when I was doing the callback on Zoom, they threw in the other scene of like Tristan exposing in the car that she like has a criminal past. Yeah. So actually directly scenes from the show, and they really didn't change much at all like when we went to go film.
Wow. So that was like always part of, like, did they describe, oh, she's harboring this secret, like while you were auditioning, or did you kind of find out real time, like, oh, this is, you know, when you saw that scene where you reveal the titty titty bang bang? I mean, come on, we have to put it into words. You know, I guess my question is more like, was Tristan described as a character as like holding this thing and harboring this secret?
Not at first. I think they described her as like opinionated, charming, and then they always say like way out of Malcolm's league. And I'm like, well, you can't really play that. So like, I'll just like throw that. I was like, we'll just toss that to the side. That's not really
Totally.
like helpful for me. But
Right.
it's funny that they always say that even when they released the article of like Kiana Madeira cast, it was like Tristan way out of his league. I'm like, what is this? This narrative is crazy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they didn't say in the character breakdown. So only like I think my third audition in, they threw in that other scene, and I was like, what? What? This is crazy. This is a whole layer to her that I didn't know.
Yeah.
But no, Ken Guapis and Linwood are, I'm sure, like, even from speaking to Linwood, you know that, like, he's so particular, both of them. They're so great to work with because they know exactly what they want. So even by the time I stepped onto set, I was like, I feel like I'm here because they really are sure that they want me to be here. So like any questions I had about Tristan, the whole process, I felt very comfortable to like collaborate with them. And yeah, they really allowed me to feel confident stepping into that space.
Oh.
I'm curious, like,
Yeah.
it's interesting because on the one hand, you're stepping into like a property that's, you know, existed before and has this long history, but on the other hand, like, you and Keely's character Leah and Malcolm, like that trio that's so much of your, you know, your character in the show and your role in the shows with those two, that it's interesting that that's kind of uncharted territory for Malcolm in the Middle. And was, I don't know, like what was it like kind of figuring out that, you know, that new kind of direction?
It was really fun. I think that's like what makes the reboot fresh and brings like a fresh energy. Malcolm for so long was surrounded by boys and like obviously his mom, and there were some girl characters that came in here and there, but having like those scenes where it's like Malcolm now navigate having a girlfriend and like a real relationship, and also navigate being a dad with a teenage daughter who's like going through a lot. Like I think it was the perfect way to show Malcolm in a new light. And we sat down with Ken and like asked a bunch of questions and created like a backstory for our characters and our relationship and everything. So it was really fun. And Frankie is like such a great actor. He's such a pro. He's very present to act alongside. He's hilarious. He like tries things and like, yeah, he was just really, our chemistry read was the first time that I was like, oh my gosh, he'd be so fun. I hope I get this role because like he'd be so fun to act opposite. I think he knows the character so well, but at the same time was very open to like discovering a different side of Malcolm. And it was cool for me to see in real time. It was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the ultimate fan experience.
Yeah, literally. I'm like,
I am
am I a fan?
Malcolm's-
Am I a co-star? I'm confused.
But that's also cool. I mean, that, you know, it was probably intense for him too to be going back into acting again, and I'm sure that was like really comforting to have somebody that like you guys had great chemistry to work with again, and like, or for the first time.
Yeah.
But you know, working with an actor who you're still like, you are a current working actor, but he's gone and done the racing stuff too. Have you seen him race?
Yeah. I've seen like on TV. I haven't seen
Okay.
it live. But wow, I know he was racing literally every weekend that we were filming. He would fly out.
Whoa.
Like the schedule was like Sunday to Thursday filming. He would fly out Friday, race Saturday, come back Sunday to film, or like
Wow.
something along those lines, like crazy. So we would be like on the weekends, like would watch it if I could, and so crazy. Like his work ethic is really like out of this world. I've never met someone with a
Damn.
better work ethic than Frankie Muniz.
He's got to
That's
drive.
crazy.
He's
I
gotta
always
drive.
Yeah.
I've always heard like, oh, he races cars, and I always thought like, oh, he likes to race cars, but it's like, no, he's a race car driver. Like that is his
Yeah.
occupation. Like that's what he
Yeah.
does for a living now. It's like crazy.
It's
I
really
know. It's not even like something casual. It's like just so crazy. He's like, yeah, I wrecked. I'm like, are you okay? Your car was like on fire. Like, you just back here filming. Like, I like slept over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know. I like went
Yeah.
out to eat, like whatever. Dude, that's insane. And he just like slipped right back into the role in such an insane
Yeah.
way. Like, I mean, Ryan and I were so stoked watching it again. We're just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
So good.
So going along the lines of like, I feel like this whole revival too is a lot about like secrets, lies, like exposing yourself, not hiding from each other. And we were wondering, I think we asked Ken Quapis about this too. Like, how long do you think Tristan would have kept this secret from Malcolm if she hadn't kind of been pushed into saying it because his secret came out? You know, would they have just both
That's a
held on
great-
forever?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think Leah would have like complicated things. Like, it maybe if it was just the two of them, they maybe would have held on for as long as they possibly could. But I think after taking that step in their relationship of like Tristan meeting Leah, that would have changed things inevitably. I think I don't think they would have gone too long. I feel like their relationship would have gone deeper. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know about Malcolm. He might have kept that.
Yeah.
But like eventually, of course, people are gonna find out. Like it's so crazy that he was. It's almost like when things are going so well, you don't even want to entertain the possibility of like throwing a monkey wrench in or something being thrown off. So I think inevitably they would have kind of gotten out of that honeymoon phase, and especially when things start to get real with like Leah involved and everything.
Yeah.
I think it probably would have came out then.
Yeah, you start Googling it. Wait, who is this person?
Yeah, I mean Leah's so smart; she probably would have found out
I
like
know.
and exposed. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and working with Keely, was that like a nice to have another person who was just entering this world again? And how did you guys talk about the relationship between Tristan and Leah?
Working with her was amazing. She's such a pro. She's so smart, like just so well-rounded, so kind, so sweet. I loved working with her so much. We really like spent a lot of time together offset. I just felt so protective of her in a way, but also like I just wanted to make sure that as an older girl that she's working with, I could kind of take her under my wing and like make sure she always felt comfortable, always had what she needed. Like she taught me so much too. It was definitely mutual. But yeah, we spent a lot of time together. We hung out. Her mom, Karen, who's amazing, she was on set with her all the time. So we would like get lunch and dinner and like hang out offset. And yeah, Keely is, yes, she's young, but she is so professional. Like she came with ideas for Leah. She had questions, she had ideas. So it didn't really feel like I was like, working with a little kid. I was like
Yeah.
working with like a professional, seasoned actor, where I
Yeah.
could like, it didn't feel like I had to tiptoe around like the professionalism of it all, like really talk about backstory and character. It felt like in that way we were the same age in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's super impressive. Like very, very, very talented. I'm so excited to see everything that she does. But yeah, working with her was a treat.
Yeah, honestly, that reminds me of like everybody we've talked to about working on the original show. We're like, what
Yeah.
was it like working with like, the adults and then the kids? And they were like obviously we saw them as kids and they were kids and were, had certain hours and labor laws and stuff. But they were like, but there's something about child actors that are just, they're so professional and so
Yeah.
on it that like you would just be like, you would sometimes forget because they're just so like tuned in. And I think, yeah, it's weird. Like it's not the same as just interacting with random kids, obviously.
Exactly. It's so different. I'm
Yeah.
like, and Keely specifically is so smart
Yeah.
that she like reads like, I don't know, so many books. Like she's just like always educating herself. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I want to go back to school.
She's also sorry. She's
She
like
inspired me.
16, 17. She's not like that. She's not like a child.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like on the set they had Dewey originally. It's funny that there's
Yeah.
like no young kids on this iteration of Malcolm.
True.
when there
Yeah.
always were, but
I'm curious about because like the process of working with Ken, because I know he has like sort of so I read his book before we talked to him, and he talks about working with actors and kind of building a history and fleshing out that character. How much of that did you guys do together, and like what was it? I'm curious about like the production side of things we can get to, but like the pre-production side, approaching this character with Ken.
We had like 2 weeks when we got to Vancouver to film before we went to camera. So during those 2 weeks, we were always in the production office. We had like, there's always a table read like in front of the executives and everything. But on this show specifically, we had a rehearsal for the table read, which I've never experienced before. So I was like, I just knew that they care a lot about like making sure the jokes hit, making sure everything feels fleshed out, making sure the characters make sense. So yeah, we got to sit down like with Ken for I would say 2 weeks beforehand, and not just to ask the questions about like how long have they been together, or like what's Tristan's job, or just like even to the details of like talking about Tristan's room, like in the scene where it's her bedroom, even though you don't see the whole room, like I had creative input on what went on her walls, like the colors, the decor and everything, and Keely had the same. So he really cares about like making sure that you feel fully fleshed out stepping into the world, which I really appreciate. But it was also about like developing the comfortability. If we didn't have those 2 weeks together, it sometimes can be awkward, like stepping onto set where you're, I have a scene with Frankie in bed and we have to have this dynamic. And like, if you're just meeting someone basically for the first time, it can be a little naturally awkward. So I think it was really important to Ken for us to just sometimes hang out and just like talk about personal life stuff and like get to know one another. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. We've talked to him 2 times actually on this podcast, and he's such a sweet guy.
The best.
Such a sweet guy.
Yeah. And him like saying, go ahead instead of saying action. Or like, whenever you're ready.
Exactly.
So
his energy was just so calming.
Yeah, he's
and
got
I
a
know
real chill
Frankie
energy.
loves him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frankie, every time he sees him, he's like, my favorite director. And I get it. Yeah, I get it. Ken is the
so
best.
cute. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Did you, was there anything about Tristan's background that you developed that you were like, what kind of family do you think that she had in comparison with Malcolm's crazy family?
Well, given what was like kind of clues in the script about like her mom's boyfriend like being abusive and that's why she shot him, I just kind of like took that and ran with it. And I was like, well, I decided she grew up with a single mom.
Okay.
Her dad wasn't in the picture. I actually decided that her dad passed away as opposed to leaving. Like I just felt that was a little bit more compelling to me. But her mom, like I thought her mom and dad had a great relationship, but he passed away. So her mom was like searching for her dad and all these different men, but not getting it. So I decided that Tristan had a good relationship with her mom. They almost like grew up like best friends, but like she's very protective of her. But mostly grew up, I think just the 2 of them and then boyfriends as they came in and out.
Gotcha. So no siblings either.
No, I decided she wouldn't have any siblings, which is like also like meeting Malcolm's siblings like made it even more like crazy and exciting.
Yeah, it makes me think about that line. Well, also the fact that he didn't say they had brothers, but she's like, you have brothers? And it's like, yeah. It's like, oh shit, I've also never dealt with that before. Like,
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, they've got more than enough siblings for Tristan, honestly. They've got extra. So.
Did you
know, it was so fun.
Did you shoot all this stuff like with Malcolm and Leah before the anniversary stuff? Like, I'm curious about like what it was like to then, because it feels like 2 kind of very different things of this show with Malcolm and Leah, and then it's like this family and this whole dynamic. Like, what was that kind of like?
Yeah, we shot all the anniversary stuff pretty much last, at least for my shooting schedule. Then they maybe shot some of the like the Christmas flashback with the whole family. That was like the very last thing, but I wasn't in that. So for me, it was like all the Leah and Malcolm stuff. And then we spent like 4 days, I think, shooting all the anniversary party stuff. It did in a way almost feel like 2 different shows. Like the dynamic with just Malcolm, Leah, and Tristan was one thing. And then it was like really thrown into the dynamic with everyone else, which I really liked because Tristan is meeting them for the first time and like being introduced to this energy and world for the first time, as well as Kiana. So I felt like I was able to kind of like step into the anniversary party naturally being like, whoa, especially for me seeing all the characters, like Stevie and just like, his parents and like everyone was kind of like sprinkled in. So there's this like wide-eyed like awe that Tristan has that I felt like I could also have as Kiana.
Yeah, and Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was so cool and so random in the best way. And he's so great too. He was super cool.
Ryan and I were watching because we got the screeners like a little early because we were interviewing some people, and which was so sick. We felt like the luckiest people. We're like, no way. But anyway, we got them early, and I remember when Finn Wolfhard came on screen, we were like, is that?
Yeah.
Is that what you're like? Is that Finn Wolfhard? Like, no context to why he's there. So funny.
DM'd him on Instagram like, yo, if you ever want to come on the pod, just let us know. No response.
Yeah.
I think I sent him another one following up on this.
He's like, I don't think he's gonna see it.
Absolutely not. I'm sure he doesn't even run his Instagram.
Of course not. He's like off filming it 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Booked and
funny.
busy.
Absolutely.
Had you met the like Brian, Jane, all of them before before you got to shoot like the anniversary stuff? Like was I guess the table reads and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, I met them in those 2 weeks that we had leading up to filming. Like they were also there. We did a walkthrough of the set, which was super cool because it was based off of the set from the original show, but it was their
Yeah.
first time seeing it
oh cool.
after like 20 years. So that was the first time I met them. I actually don't think Brian was there yet, but Jane was the first person I met because
Wow.
we shared a car to the production office on my very first day. So they picked me up and they're like, "Oh, we're just picking up another cast member." And I was like, "Okay, cool." We pull up to this hotel and then Jane walks out with all her stuff and I was like, "Oh my God,
Wow.
it's the mom of
You're
our
meeting
middle."
the cast member. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like so funny. I love Jane. You
Yeah.
guys haven't spoken to Jane yet, have you?
No,
haven't interviewed
dream
her.
guest.
No.
I think she's both of our favorite characters.
Yeah,
Lois. Like
man.
we are
Yeah.
obsessed with Lois,
What are you
and
gonna do?
I
It's
hope
Lois.
you.
Yeah.
I hope that happens because she's amazing. Like you will not be disappointed. She has this energy to her, this like maternal. I feel like everyone feels like that's my mom. Like we grew up with like
Yeah.
Lois was like our mom too in a way, and
Yeah.
she just has that like nurturing energy to her in real life as well.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like we have so
Yeah.
like I've yeah, it's so much like childhood stuff. Just like watching this
Yeah.
woman and being like, what the hell? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. How do you think Tristan would fare with? Because we get to see a little bit of it, but not a ton of her dynamic with Lois and Hal and them. Like, do you think she would get along well with them? Like, did you think about that when you were prepping?
I did. I did. I feel like Lois and Tristan would really get along. I wish that there was more space and time to explore
Yeah.
that. But I think just given like Tristan's kind of like grounded presence and like not being afraid to tell Malcolm like what's right, what's wrong, like she's very strong in her own way and I think obviously Lois is like that too. And as much as like Lois only ever wanted the best for Malcolm and kind of was like hard on him in that way, in a way I feel like it mirrors like the way Tristan feels about Malcolm, like but also pouring into him and edifying him and like making sure he knows like you don't have to like be anything other than who you are. You're great. I think Lois would love that for Malcolm and for that reason would love Tristan.
Yeah. Do you remember
Yeah.
watching the finale of Malcolm in the Middle or like seeing the final episode and the speech about like her wanting him to be president? Do you remember like having an opinion on that when you were younger? Being like, what? Or yeah, that makes sense.
I rewatched it when we were filming. I don't remember my reaction when I was a kid, but I know that I was always on the kids' side. And no matter what, I was always team kids. And now rewatching it as an adult, I'm like, wait a second, I'm kind of team Hal and Lois. It's
Same with us.
interesting how that
That's
works.
what
Yeah.
we talk about that.
Yeah. It's fascinating. I'm like, when I was a kid, I was like, why is she always yelling at them? Like, they're just having fun. And now I'm like, those kids are wild.
I
Of course she's
know.
yelling at them.
Insane.
I know, and it's like fucking. She has to pick up the house, and it's like see both
Yeah.
are working. It's like cut them a
Yeah.
goddamn break.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
I know.
And the biggest nightmare of all is Francis's life. Which-
Francis, we talk about this. We talk about this all the time. Francis' life sucks in the original.
I know. It's so, he's always having the hardest time.
I know.
It sucks.
so funny.
Yeah.
I'm curious about like because we haven't. Well, we've talked to one actor before. That's not true. We've talked to a few, but I'm curious about the notes that like the difference in notes between Ken and Linwood. Like when you're on set, like what are you? Because I imagine Linwood's a little bit bigger picture, but I'm curious what that looked like for the revival.
That's a great question. I think Linwood is so Ken because he's a director and he has that book about working with actors and like he's Ken. He always his notes were more I guess character based like do like for example the scene where Tristan and Malcolm like you don't know if they're going to be together or not. He would throw me notes like more to get me like thinking about it like what are you coming into this scenario wanting? Like, do you want to work things out? Are you coming to break up with him? Is that what you planned when coming, or is that something that naturally already happens? Like very like scene work,
Yeah.
character based, and like what your intentions are. And I think for Linwood, you know, they're both geniuses in what they do. And I think Linwood's genius comes in and like he knows when something sounds right. Like he knows how he wants the joke to land, how it's like I feel like he could like not even watch a monitor and only have a headset and be like, yeah, that's the one. Cause it's like such a like a hearing experience for him, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like the
Yeah.
timing of the joke and the way that it sounds, and like the amount of pause that you take before it lands. Like he was very like technical in that way. So I think both of them together was like they were always on set together. The perfect balance and dynamic,
Yeah.
but very different ways. Yeah, different ways of approaching it.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because we talk about like the original show having such a rhythm and
Yep.
beat to it. You know, it's very like, yeah, like even to the sound effects and to the soundtrack, it's like very much based on timing. And
Yep.
so Linwood's got a tuned ear to that, I imagine.
Yes.
Did you see that? Like, did Frankie have a sort of like rapport with Ken and Linwood that was already established that he kind of like slipped back into, or did this feel like kind of a reset?
It felt like they definitely had history in a good way.
He's like,
He told
"Fuck
me he was
you."
like
You don't give me another note.
Frankie was saying that in the original show they always had directors like coming in and out, and Ken was his favorite. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to any of the other directors who may be watching this, but Frankie said like, you know, Ken was. There's a reason why they asked Ken to come back and do the revival. Yeah, I mean, the way he sets the tone on set, like the show is so like chaotic energetically, but Ken has such like a grounded demeanor and like he just makes everyone feel very calm. So yeah, Frankie was like a huge fan of Ken, and then yeah, Linwood was on set. Frankie told me like every day during the original. He was like, it was so specific. Like you couldn't even move something in the background of a shot without Linwood approving it. Like everything was like Linwood's vision. So
Yeah.
they knew him very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you prefer like comedy over drama, or was this, you know, is this something you want to do more projects in this vein, or I know we talked to Vaughn and who's so awesome, and they were talking about how they were nervous even doing the audition because they hadn't auditioned for comedy before, and they started, you know, Linwood started laughing at something they said and they were like, oh, and then they're like, oh wait, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm curious about your relationship to like, yeah, comedy versus drama.
Vaughn is awesome. Vaughn is super,
So
super dope.
awesome.
Yeah. I actually got my start in comedy, oddly enough, in Canada on Family Channel, which is like our Canadian version of Disney Channel.
Aw.
My very first series regular role, it was on a sitcom called Really Me. So it was like 4 camera. We didn't have a live audience, but it was like, I remember literally when I booked it, I was like 18 and the showrunner came and handed us a book that was literally sitcom for dummies and was like, well, see you on set. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Okay. It's like, I don't know, should I be offended or is this really helpful? But it was super helpful. Like just the timing, there's like a math to comedy that I learned at a young age, but then like went on to do like horror and drama and like kind of stepped away from it. So now like stepping back into that space, I love it so much. I kind of feel like I'm like reuniting with something that I had, you know, dropped for a second from when I was younger, but it's definitely still like in my roots and foundation that I would love to continue to do comedy. It's also nice like doing something so lighthearted because
Yeah.
as cool as it is like reading a script, especially let's say like a horror and you're like, oh wow, the script is so dope and like and then this happens and this happens and this happens. I used to just be like, yeah, I want to do it. And now from experience, I'm like, that's cool, but I'm actually going to have to like me and my body do these things, which is so intense.
Yeah. You're
Super
like,
intense. So it's
wow.
nice, like comedy just feels sometimes like lighthearted. You go to set, everyone's having a good time, you go home, you sleep well and repeat. It's a nice like change of pace sometimes.
That's awesome that you
Yeah.
started on a sitcom, because this is also, we've been talking a lot about how Malcolm was really like broke the mold for sitcoms and being like the single cam and very different from that. So you did experience like the multicam. You said live audience too?
No,
Oh no,
No,
not
it
live
wasn't
audience.
really.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, because that that's a whole other element. Was there a laugh
yeah.
track or
Yeah, there was a
Okay,
laugh
okay.
track. Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, was that like how was that comedic experience different from this one? I mean, I know it's in the beginning of your career,
Yeah.
but
No, I mean, I just even having whether it's a live audience, like you said, that'd be like a totally different and crazy cool experience. But even with the laugh track, like having to know like when's the punchline, hold for laughs, and like
Mm,
sit in that space and like hold it and then continue, like that's so different than Malcolm in the Middle where there's no laugh track. So we can just play it like it's a scene, like you would play almost a drama, but knowing that the joke's here but continuing to move on and like hold a little bit of space but like keep it moving. It's like very kind of a different like medium, I guess.
hmm.
um but yeah, it's shot like a drama would be shot, basically, like, the way that the cameras are set up, but knowing that like in this world you can like have physical comedy. Like Brian is so good with the
Yeah,
physical comedy. Like
crazy.
he's like a legend with physical comedy. So it's cool to like take almost like a sitcom energy and apply to single cam. I think Malcolm in the Middle definitely like paved the way for that.
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you definitely get the biggest physical comedy, I think, was you guys absolutely brutally attacking Malcolm, putting him in the car.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Every time I watched that, I was like, oh,
Yeah, you beat the shit out of him.
So bad.
like he's for sure concussed. Like he's fucked up right now.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Malcolm in the Middle because they just do the things you wouldn't like. It's like
Yeah.
everyone thinks it, but they're like, that surely they're not going to go there, but they always go there.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
true.
Yeah.
So you would
Yeah.
actually physically have to hold for laughs, like in the one that had laughter. Like, would they
Yeah.
have to remind you, like, wait, or
Our director would often laugh out loud from the monitor just as a reminder. Like,
Oh my God.
and it just sounded so like, like not genuine, but like, but we knew, we're like, okay, yeah, that's the laugh. So like, we
that's
kind of got used to it.
crazy. That is
Yeah.
really crazy, and that's like
Yeah.
to get used to. Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was it like watching the episodes of Life's Still Unfair for the first time? I imagine you'd seen them before the premiere.
I did. They sent a screener, so I watched all four. But it's different seeing it at the premiere, like
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
theater full of people and the other
Yeah.
cast there, especially on a bigger screen. But I was like, I almost didn't want to watch them already because I'm like, oh no, there's only four and they're going to be done. And like seeing something for the first time is always so special.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, if I'm going to be doing interviews, I feel like I should watch them. It's like, the smarter choice. But I loved it. Like it's seeing my name like with the font and the opening
Oh,
credits, and like
so cool.
because I'm such a fan of the originals, like really full circle for me. And I just love them. I think that they did such a great job with the edits and the takes that they chose to use. I was like really happy with it.
Damn. Did your brother think it was
Yeah.
dope that you were in Malcolm in the Middle? Like,
Oh my gosh, he's like he's like it feels out like really like are we dreaming? My
right.
parents even came to set. Yeah, they came to set when
Oh.
we filmed, and
That's
they got to
awesome.
meet Jane. She was on set that day, so like as much as we were fans as kids, it was always on in our house. So our parents watched it too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so it was cool.
Did they watch? I don't remember that.
Yeah, mom did. Our mom wants to meet Jane so bad. Our mom always says that if we ever interview Jane, she needs to be there. She'll like fly. Our mom lives in California, but she's like, I will fly
Yeah.
across the country to be there.
That would be
I
so cool.
love that.
That would
I
be,
really
like-
hope that happens.
Yeah.
So bizarre to see them together. I
Yeah.
wouldn't know how to comprehend.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
You guys are in New York?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we live in Brooklyn.
We're in
Nice.
Brooklyn, which was like
Oh, nice.
so convenient that the premiere happened here. We were like, how lucky are we that
I
they
know.
did it here?
I know. I didn't think it was going to be in New York at all. I
Yeah.
used to live in New York and now I live in LA. And then they were like, yeah, it's going to be in New York. I'm like, wow, I wonder why, but it worked out for the best. It was really cool, like, to have you guys there.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
That was very surreal.
very special. Very, very
Yeah,
special.
I can
We were, like,
imagine.
walking around like, hello.
Yeah, Tracy would be like, because Tracy really found our show and really like,
Being-
champion us, which was really amazing. But at the premiere, she'd be like, have you met Frankie yet? And we're like, oh, no. She's like, come here. And then she'd like just pull us through the crowd. And then we'd be like standing in front of Frankie Muniz, be like, hi. And it was like so insane.
So funny.
Yeah, crazy. Tracy's the best. I saw you guys just posted her
Yeah.
episode. I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Oh my god.
She's awesome.
She's so cool.
so cool.
Yeah,
We were-
she's so cool.
But we were more scared to talk to her, I think, than Linwood.
For sure.
Which is
Yeah.
it's so funny because she's like, she DM'd us like initially, and she's just like so talkative about DMing, which is like, oh, all this, like, and I was just like, oh, she must just be like the most chill person ever, and she is, but she also has like an intenseness and like a. I mean, she's just so serious and has such an insane career that, like, talking to her, I was like, oh my god, wait,
Yeah.
you literally were head of comedy at Fox, like,
Yeah.
what?
Insane.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus Christ.
Such a girl boss, so inspiring.
For real.
Also in a band, Drama
I
Dolls,
know.
like
So sick.
just like the coolest person.
I know. She was. I remember in our interview with her, she was like, "Yeah, and at 28, I was like executive producing this thing," and I'm like, "I'm 27." What are you talking about? She was like, "I didn't know what I was doing." I was like, "Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Wow, no, Tracy's the best.
She's so cool.
She's super
Yeah.
cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Well, we have like a few. I had these like stupid rapid fire questions for you. Of course. Well, I guess.
Do you have like a Malcolm in the Middle episode that stands out from the original? No worries if not, but like one that you're like, this was always like your favorite.
Love the water park one. It's so funny that you guys mentioned that
Yeah.
paperback. I loved that one. And then not like a full episode, but I saw like my algorithm is also like all Malcolm in the Middle now,
Yeah.
and I saw this clip of like I don't remember what specific episode was, but it was Lois and this other woman in the parking lot, and they like are like passive aggressively like opening the door to hit each other's
Yeah.
cars.
Yes.
And then it just like excels and like goes crazy where like she literally like T-bones her in the
Yeah,
parking lot. Yeah, I love that
So good.
moment. I
So
love that
good.
scene.
I
Yeah.
don't think we've reached that yet.
We haven't.
In our rewatch, we're on season 3.
Yeah.
So we're
Okay.
chugging along, but we've taken a huge hiatus to do like all revival stuff. But
Yeah.
but when we get there, we'll shout you out. Yeah, that
Yes, please.
I know I keep having and Malcolm's like such an amazing show for like clips, like especially the cold opens. Like they're all
Oh, yeah.
little stories, you know, that
Yep.
are so memorable and so like self-contained. I think that's
Yeah.
like one of my favorite things about Malcolm is like those cold opens.
No, it's such a it just I feel like it'll continue to age so well. It's pretty timeless.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Do you have a favorite sibling in the Malcolm universe besides Malcolm? Like who was your go-to?
My go-to is Reese.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smart.
it was Reese. I mean, I was young. I obviously had a crush on him. I feel like everyone did. But
Yeah.
I also just loved, he was like unhinged. Like he was like, I don't know. I really, really liked Reese for some reason. He made me want to like do crazy stuff. He just like has this energy about him that I'm like, it was relatable.
Yeah,
liked
like
it
I
a
want to
lot.
run with a pack of dogs like you do.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
That's also one of my favorite episodes where he starts just rough, like barking at the mailman.
He's like,
Yeah,
what?
He's like,
exactly.
what? And it starts sounding like a dog, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, Lois or Hal as your in-law?
I see this.
Ooh.
Wait, I see this. What does that mean?
Like,
Because
if
they're
you
both in-laws.
Oh, well, no, yeah, but in a world where there's only one of them, Ryan.
Damn, I have to
didn't-
choose between Lois and Hal. That's
yeah,
savage.
you have to pick. You have to pick. But as your in-law, I'm like, I mean, for me, it's probably Hal because he's just like an easier situation to be
Sure.
in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah. Hal's a lot more chill. Whereas, like, I would almost feel like I always have to be on with Lois, and like
Yeah.
that standard would be set super high that I would have to go with Hal for that reason. I feel like you could do no wrong with Hal.
What about you, Ryan?
As an in-law, I think Lois would be the one that I probably wanted to impress the most. You know, so it'd be kind of like it'd be like
Make you a better man.
yeah. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
I'll go with Lois.
Amazing.
Last one of the rapid fire. Do you have a favorite thing that you did this season? Favorite scene to film?
I love the anniversary party stuff because we all got to be together. But I love the scene where Tristan and Leah meet for the first time
Yeah.
because we get to like play and laugh, and then also Hal and Lois come in, so it's like the best of
Mm.
both worlds of like meeting them and getting to act with them, and then also like having this special moment with Malcolm and Leah. I think that scene is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
scene.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have taken so much of your time. We really appreciate you talking to us. It means a lot. We're obviously huge fans of you and your performance on Life's Still Unfair. So this is a real honor for us.
So excited to see what other comedy you do, what other projects you do. You were so fantastic in this show and brought like a whole other level. That was really, really awesome to see. So thank you, Kiana.
Thank you guys so much. I'm so happy I got to do this. I know we talked about it in New York, and we made it happen. So thank you for having me.
Of course. Anytime. Always welcome back.
Literally.
Thank you.
Anytime. We're gonna be doing.
I'll be back.
We're gonna be doing this show for years, bro.
Yeah.
We have
Weekly
I love
release.
that.
Oh my God. I know. Weekly release. Like we'll be done in like 2028 or something.
we have so many episodes to get through.
That's great. That's so
It's
exciting.
awesome.
I hope
We're
you guys get
excited.
to have Craig on, play Stevie. That'd be great.
We
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
feeling, oh my God, Craig. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Craig Taylor's so awesome. Oh my gosh.
I met him at the premiere, and I'm like, wow, he's great.
And
He's
the
super
most
cool too.
fashionable person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he designed his whole outfit for the premiere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So awesome.
jewelry he made. Like I was like, come on.
Yep.
Jesus.
So-
I know.
Thank you so much, and tune in next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, no, maybe. I don't know.